Alrighty, what's up everybody? Peter Gilmore here on this final football Sunday of the 2019 season. And back at you again with another video right here on Killer of Demons 669. Thank you all for watching. And make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. Alright, like I said, it's the final week of the 2019 football season. We got a lot of great games today. You got the Jets on now. They're tied 3-3. About to go into the fourth quarter. Not a really great game, but a great defensive game. I put it like that. On Channel 2. And you had the Packers and the Detroit Lions. The Lions are kicking the Packers' ass, which helps this team very much. So, not that much, but, you know, it helps them from not getting the number 1 seed. But hopefully we got to hope for the New Orleans Saints to lose. And we got to do our business tonight in Seattle. Bang, bang, Niner gang. So, the Niners play Seattle tonight on NBC in the Legion of Boom, where we never do good. But I have a feeling that tonight, even with Beast Mode activated, Seattle is going down. Seattle is going down. They're going to lose by 3 points. And the Niners will win the division. And they will coast into the playoffs with home field advantage. First round bye. And then we play whoever comes out of the wild card round. It will be either the Packers, the Eagles, or the Vikings, or the Saints. Hopefully, it's not the Saints until the NFC title game, but we'll see what happens with that. Or the Seacocks. But we'll see what happens. I think whoever wins the NFC East is probably going to play either the Seacocks or us, and they're going to lose. I would hate to beat the Niners, have to go into cold as fuck Philadelphia or Dallas for a wildcard game when our defense is banged up. I'd like to get that home field advantage so we don't have to go through Seattle to get where we want to go. That's the Super Bowl. I'd rather have the Super Bowl go through San Francisco, where we basically never lose. Except for those 2 times this season, but one of them was a good game. The last game was a heartbreaker, but it is what it is. But got that. So got football tonight, and can't wait for that. And then tomorrow night, Monday Night Raw, the final Raw of 2019. Got Lana and Rusev's wedding. Whoop damn do! And some other stuff as we progress into 2020 and the Royal Rumble come up in a couple weeks. Got that. But as of right now, it is time for your late and out-of-date Smackdown review for December the 26th. December the 27th, 2019. The final Smackdown of the year. It was highlighted by a triple threat match to see who faces Bray Wyatt at the Royal Rumble. We had The Miz, Daniel Bryan, and King Corbin. We had that. But basically most of what SmackDown was going to be revolved around. And way the SmackDown ended last year wasn't really that good. I mean, I had a couple decent matches, not great matches, but pretty decent. The 3-way match was pretty decent, and the beginning of it sucked. And then I'll get to that when I get to it. But overall, it was still pretty decent for what it was. And we had some other things happening with the New Day, and with we had a moment of bliss with Alexa Bliss and Lacey Evans, which turned into chaos. as usual on a. But we got that. We had some other stuff on the show where we didn't really progress with storyline progression, except for maybe the main event, which leads into Royal Rumble. One of the matches for Royal Rumble. Where you have, I think, 3 matches for the Royal Rumble: the women's Royal Rumble match, the men's Royal Rumble match, and the the Universal title match, which has now been announced. But I think over the probably Monday Night Raw, we'll find out more stuff for the Royal Rumble. Going into the first Smackdown of the new year on January the 3rd, 2020. So we'll see what happens with that. Well, let's get to Smackdown. Let's get to not last night, but let's get to last Friday night, and we move on from there. That's pretty much all I got to say about that. So we start the show off, well, with something interesting that we don't usually see. We start off with Elias, and he comes out. He's playing a little song, and he actually did the whole song for once. We got Elias in concert, which was. And let me just get my notes situated here. If I can. Okay. And he's basically mocking Bayley, mocking Shane McMahon. Haven't seen, I don't know how long. Well, we haven't seen him in a while, since I believe right before the Survivor Series, I think. Or before that, maybe after Hell in a Cell. When he lost to Kevin Owens in that ladder match to have Kevin Owens stay in WWE, and then we all know what happened to Kevin Owens. He went to Monday Night Raw. Now he's in a big feud with Seth Rollins, and now you got Samoa Joe involved, and that's supposedly leading to Seth Rollins, Samoa Joe at the Royal Rumble, which I hope Joe wins. But as we all know, probably won't happen. But it is what it is. So we get that, and then he mocks he looks Lashley and Lana. And then right after that, after we get a nice great concert from Elias, King Corbin comes out to bore us half to death. He starts yammering and making an ass out of himself about his success and calling Bryan and Miz terrible fathers, like he did last week. He says they are also former world champions that main evented WrestleMania. And he says he's the rightful number 1 contender. And he continues to run them down. He can beat The Fiend. And then he's on his throne, by the way, talking. Elias was in the ring. And then we hear the music of Roman Reigns, Mr. Cockfist himself. And while his music goes, Corbin falls off his throne, much like Jerry Lawler did back in the early '90s. And it was he had Gilbert, and before it was Gilbert, it was Dwayne Gill and D'Lo Brown. Before D'Lo Brown came into the WWE, they dropped Jerry Lawler right at ringside. That was kind of embarrassing for the King, but it is what it is. So we hear the music. He falls off his throne, and he's trying to get up. He's yelling at the people that carried his throne, and then from behind, Roman Reigns attacks him, and he hits him with a Superman punch, and then Corbin goes to the back to escape. So they keep going with Corbin and Roman Reigns feud, which is probably going to be another match at the Royal Rumble, probably some stipulation match. I read something that at some house shows, if they're going to be fighting and the loser has to eat dog food. I mean, really? That's what it's going to lead to? Somebody eating dog food? Ugh. Let's hope that Roman wins this and not Corbin, because I really don't want to see Roman Reigns eat dog food. I mean, he was covered in it. a couple weeks ago. And they tried to do it again with Kofi. Well, that didn't work because Roman came out and saved them. Look at that. So I gave that first segment 2.25 out of 5 stars. So it continues the Roman Baron Corbin feud. It should really end at the Royal Rumble. But we'll see what happens with that. But after that, Corbin's ranting backstage to agents and he wants the match postponed. Like, that's gonna happen. But at that. And we move on from there. And then we get to our first official match. We have a 6-man tag team match, which came about from last week. We have The New Day, Smackdown Tag Team Champs, and Braun Strowman. On Cesaro, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Sami Zayn. We haven't seen in a ring in a while since he has his neck and shoulder injuries. And he's basically been a manager to Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro. So he's back in the ring. I'm back on TV screens. So this is Sami's first match since August. So it's been 4 months since we've seen Sami in action. I think the last time we saw him, he got his ass kicked by Strowman. I forget, but this was. Anyway, match was not bad. It wasn't bad. It was pretty good. The crowd was getting into it. And has a little bit of storyline progression with Braun Strowman. And which we'll get to in a minute. And get that. So we start off with Cesaro and Big E. Big E takes control, tags in Kofi. They send Nakamura out of the ring. And then Sami Zayn distracts him. Nakamura attacks him. Sami then follows with some ground and pound, dumps Kofi, and then Cesaro attacks him on the outside as we go to break. Come back. They're working on Kofi. Well, Cesaro's working on Kofi. Kofi fires back. Nakamura cuts him off. And then they double team him. They got a suplex for a near fall. And Kofi comes back with a jawbreaker. Then Cesaro mowed him down with a tiger uppercut. And then they're working on Kofi for a while. And he Nakamura knocked him in a abdominal stretch. And then Nakamura starts mocking Big E. I think it was gyrating. I don't know what the fuck he was doing. And then Nakamura attacks Big E. And then Kofi hits a desperation SOS. Supposed to look for the hot tag, but Cesaro stopped it, taking out Braun. Kofi kept fighting, and Nakamura kept attacking him. Then more double teams on Kofi. Big E makes a save. Nakamura then takes him out. Goes for the Kid Sasha! That gets countered by a double stomp. Then Kofi tags in Braun Strowman. He goes running wild with some tackles, of course. And then Nakamura cuts him off. Goes for the Kid Sasha on Braun, but it's countered by a lariat. And then Cesaro made the save. Big E takes Cesaro out and sends him into the ring post. And then Nakamura is hit by the pancake platter by Kofi. And then Braun hits the running power slam on Shinsuke to pick up the win for the team. The match I gave 2.5 out of 5 stars. So it was a pretty decent match. Not bad. But it sets up Braun and Shinsuke Nakamura for the IC title. I don't really think they're gonna give it to Braun. I mean, they've tried so many times giving him the WWE title and the Universal title, and every time they do try to give him a title shot, yank it from him. So there's no way. I highly doubt that Braun Strowman's gonna win the IC title at the Royal Rumble. I think Shinsuke's gonna win by disqualification or win it by the skin of his teeth with using Sami and Cesaro as leverage. And then I think the New Day are gonna face Cesaro and I guess Cesaro is out of it. I don't know what the New Day is gonna do for the Royal Rumble unless they're in the Royal Rumble, and we all know Kofi in Royal Rumbles has to do something to not get eliminated. So we'll probably see that. We'll see what happens with that. But they're kind of going with Braun Strowman and Shinsuke Nakamura for the IC title. And like I said, I think that Shinsuke will retain because they're not going to pull the trigger and make Braun a credible champion, a singles champion. Because we all remember he was tag team champions with Nicholas that brief period after WrestleMania 30 something. It was 32. But yeah, I think it was 32. when he picked Nicholas to be his tag team partner, and they won the tag team belts. And then they proceeded to drop them. They had to give him up because Nicholas is not a wrestler. He was like 10 years old. So, get that. And we move on. After the match, it got really corny. Kofi and Big E, they're playing around, they're dancing up a storm. They want Braun to dance. But Braun's like, I don't know, I don't want to do it. And then Braun's like, okay, I'll play your guys' game. And he starts dancing and doing this and like get. And then there was a hashtag on Twitter, get these hips. The dude has no freaking rhythm, first of all. He's doing this and doing this. You know, he could have pulled off a good, meanie. But he failed miserably, and I was like, okay, this wasn't needed here. He could have just went to commercial without this crap. You made Braun look like a fucking idiot. That's it. That's all I gotta say about that. Anyway, then we find out that we're gonna get Daniel Bryan and The Miz in a number one contenders match, as King Coleman will not be in the match. It's gonna be the main event, so Coleman actually got his way and he's out of the match. So everybody's like, yay! We'll get that. So we go to that. Alright, then we go to 3 weeks ago, where we saw Roman becoming dog food Jesus. Which, like I said, is going to lead into loser eats dog food match at the Royal Rumble. Or maybe on Smackdown, I don't know. I'm hoping it's not the Royal Rumble, because you know that's going to suck. And if Corbin wins, it's going to suck even worse. Especially for Roman. But I digress. So they're leading up to that corny match, and thankfully it'll end the feud, and then Corbin will go probably into obscurity. And that's pretty much what I gotta say about that. Let me move on. Alright, then we go to Sonya Deville signing some autographs. As we find out that Mandy's gonna take on Carmella, try to get the win back last week when Carmella beat Sonya Deville using the code of silence. Sonya says Sonya wasn't thrilled, and then Otis arrives, gives Mandy a fruitcake. And he's like, I'm sorry for sweating on you and ruining your boobies and all that other good stuff last week. So, Mandy, the ongoing saga with Otis and Mandy, it's gonna lead into them getting together and probably having sex or something like that. Big man Otis getting the big D, Mandy Rose's pussy. So, yeah. They're going to become an item, not a real life item, storyline item, and, So I think Mandy's going out with some guy. Should be me, but, it is what it is. I'm going out with Io Shirai, but it is what it is. I got so many wives, I'm freaking God. Io Shirai, Sasha Banks, Asuka, Kairi Sane. It is what it is. I'm a freaking animal. It is what it is. That's all I gotta say about it. So, yeah, I gave that 2 out of 5 stars. Mandy gets the fruitcake, which we'll see later with Dolph Ziggler. Doesn't look good for that fruitcake. That's all I gotta say about that. We move on. Alright, then we get to Carmella and Mandy Rose. Yeah, not really that good. Not that good. Really slow-paced match. I think it was just the fill time. It was a 3.5-minute match. And, Mandy starts off in control, then Carmella does the moonwalk. And then Mandy grounds her with some strikes. Also with a dropkick and a running knee for a near fall. Continues her control, and then Carmella fights to her feet, but is slammed back down. Mandy talks her shit. Carmella then slaps her in the face. Mandy slaps her right back. And then Carmella comes back with some strikes. She hits a Hurricanrana, then a clothesline for a near fall. but then Mandy cut her off, and Carmella gets a crucifix pin for a near fall. Mandy comes back with an inside cradle for a near fall, and Carmella hits a super kick, and she gets the win. So she defeats Fire and Desire all by her damn self. So yeah, she gets the win. Match I gave 1.5 out of 5 stars. It was kind of boring, and maybe this will be the end of Fire and Desire, since Sonya's gonna go on her own way because she has nothing to do. Mandy's gonna be probably going into a thing with Otis. Gonna be his manager or something, or be Heavy Machinery's manager, or I don't know what they're gonna do. They're gonna have some sex angle, I don't know. At least it'd be a better angle than Lana and Rusev. Just saying. Yeah, they look like they're gonna break up Fire and Desire, another great tag team, that could have been women's tag team champions. They breaking them up. So basically, there is no women's tag teams left except for Becky and Charlotte and Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. 2 tag teams revolving around 1 belt. That's great. That's why the women's tag team belts should be freaking just get out of here. Retire the belts. It's annoying. They tried to do that with the 24/7 title, and guess what happened? That didn't happen. And Truth won the belt at a house show for the 25th time. Hey, Mike Rome actually won the belt for 5 seconds. And then they gave it back to the Singh brothers, and then R-Truth won it back for the 25th time, or 26th time. I don't know how many times he's held the damn belt. He's going to break Raven's record anyway. I think Raven's held the hardcore title 28 times. Or 29. Everybody's saying that Tommy Dreamer won the hardcore title multiple times. I highly doubt that, but you never know. I never saw him win a hardcore title in another federation, unless it was House of Hardcore. Because he didn't win it in the TNA. He didn't win it in ECW. He won the ECW World Title from Taz. And then that was it. And then he held it for like a month. And then I think after that, I think Justin Credible beat him for it. I think Justin Credible held the belt for a couple months, and then he lost, I think, to Taz. Not to Taz. I think he lost to RV. I forgot who he lost the belt to. I think it was RVD. Or he lost it to Shane Douglas. I forget. After Tommy Dreamer won the belt, I know that Justin Credible won it, but after that, I don't remember. Like in the dying days of ECW, back in 2000, 2001. But it is what it is. Yeah, so we move on from there. So they're gonna get rid of Fire and Desire. Sonya's gonna go in the mid card hell, mid to lower card hell. Andy's gonna go into this thing with Otis. And we'll see what happens with that. But match sucked. I gave it 1.5 out of 5 stars. And we're going to move on from there. Alright, then we get another Sheamus video package. Same crap we got the last couple weeks. I think he's going to debut at the Royal Rumble. He's going to come back at the Royal Rumble, be entered into the Royal Rumble. Not going to win the match, but probably have a nice little showing. And then we'll see what happens with Sheamus after the Royal Rumble. Able to pair him back up with Cesaro and the Bar, hopefully. The Bar has to come back, because, I mean, they just put Sheamus as a singles wrestler. I don't mind it, but I'd rather have him as a tag team wrestler. Better off. Just saying. And that's it. Alright, then we get to the number 1 contenders match. To see who faces Bray Wyatt at the Royal Rumble. We got Daniel Bryan, yes, and The Miz. Well, this didn't last that long. Started off okay, and then it gets ruined by King Corbin. They lock up. Miz hits a shoulder block. They work in some counters. Bryan starts attacking the arm. Calls up some kicks. Miz goes to the floor and takes control on the floor. They go back in. They work into a double down. They both go down. And then we see King Corbin's security come out. They start beating up Miz and Bryan, causing disqualification. But Miz and Bryan fought him off. This was just leading to Corbin coming back into the match to go back to the original idea of the triple threat match. Basically, this match was for nothing. So, yeah, I gave this a dud. 0 out of 10. I mean, just do the triple threat and get it over with. Nobody needs to have this fucking thing with Corbin, man. It's fucking boring. I'm sorry. He's supposedly the best heel on Smackdown. He's boring. I'm glad Roman Reigns is gonna kick his ass. Get this storyline over with. And then Baron Corbin's gonna go into mid-card hell. Just leave him off fucking SmackDown. He's boring on the mic. He sucks in the ring. He sucks as a boyfriend. Just ask Maria Brink that one. That's why Maria Brink dumped his ass. Now she's with the lead singer of Dead. D-E-D, not D-E-A-D, D-E-D. She's having the time of her life. So she should be with me, but she knows she secretly likes me. But she's my mom. She's my mama. Mama of metal. And my sister in metal, but it is what it is. That's it. So we get that. And we move on. Alright, then we get to a moment of Bliss. And Alexa Bliss. They're happy to be back, because we haven't seen a moment of Bliss in a while. And they have their coffee. They bring out Lacey Evans. And Alexa's like kind of like doing this to the music of Lacey Evans. Actually, Lacey Evans comes out. Alexa welcomes her to the show. They discuss Evans' issues with Sasha Banks and Bayley. They show footage of Sasha harassing Lacey Evans' daughter last week, who really played a great part last week. I don't know, even if it wasn't scripted, she played a great part last week in that match. Going after Sasha and almost getting to her. I think we're gonna see Lacey Evans' daughter at the Royal Rumble when Lacey Evans hopefully wins the SmackDown Women's title. That's what they're kind of leading to. But we'll see what happens with that. Lacey says she's proud of her daughter and says Sasha crossed the line. Her daughter means everything to her, and she snapped last week. And you don't mess with the child of a mother because Mama Bear will come out. Yeah, that's true. And there is nothing she won't do to stop someone from coming between her and her baby. And while she appreciates the invite, she knows what can happen and will head to the ring to take care of business. So she's about to go to the ring, and then Bayley and Sasha attack her. And then they drag out Dana Brooke before their tag match. And Lacey attacks, and they all brawl on the stage until they get separated by referees and agents. I give all that 2 out of 5 stars. And that was pretty much it. And then we get to the tag match. Match was okay. It wasn't great. It's also with Bayley attacking Lacey. Lacey cuts her off. Dana then tags in with a back handspring elbow covering for a near fall. Then she goes to work on Bayley until Sasha tagged in, cuts her off. Works her over in the corner. Dana then cuts her off with a tornado suplex for a near fall. And then they start going to work on Dana for a while. Sasha hit a running meteor for a near fall. Keeps Dana grounded, but Dana then fires back, hits an Insigity. I guess the hot tag to Lacey. Lacey comes in, as well as Bayley. Lacey runs wild, hits a neckbreaker, takes out Sasha. She hits a slingshot elbow on Bayley. And then she hits a Mark Merrow salt for a near fall as Sasha made a save. Lacey chases after her on the outside. Again, and Bayley hits a Bayley the belly for a near fall as Dana Brooke makes a save. Dana then tags in. Lacey hits the women's run on Bayley, knocking her out. Then she gets sent into the ring post, and Sasha hits the backstabber into the bank statement on Dana Brooke. Dana has no choice but to tap out. In a 6-minute match, could have went a little bit less, but it is what it is. But when it was still a pretty decent match, I gave it 2.25 out of 5 stars. And continues the storyline with Lacey and Bayley and Sasha. I think I don't know. I think it's gonna lead into Lacey taking on Bayley with Sasha at ringside. Lacey will probably win by disqualification thanks to Sasha's interference. But as much as I want Lacey to finally win that belt, I really don't think they're high on Lacey to win the belt right now. They should have made her Raw Women's Champion earlier this year. She was fighting with Baron Corbin in that winner take all match when we were doing the whole Becky Seth got together kind of thing, real life. But that didn't happen, and Lacey kept going on Raw for a little while and got into a couple of matches, but other than that, then she gets drafted to SmackDown, and she gets into this nice little feud with Bayley and Sasha. Cuts a great promo about a week or so ago. Now she's going after the SmackDown Women's title. Hopefully she wins it, because Bayley as champion is boring. Sorry to say. It's boring. She is boring. Her new heel side, I don't really like it that much anymore. I liked it when she first turned heel, but now I'm like, she should have just stayed as a babyface. That's all I gotta say about that. And we move on from there. Alright, then we see Mandy Rose eating the fruitcake that Otis gave her from his mama. Dolph Ziggler comes in, starts flirting with her like only Dolph Ziggler can, because he's a fucking pervert. And he takes the fruitcake, starts making fun of it. Says, Otis gave one to everybody. He didn't give me one. I don't eat fruitcake, but, I could have gave it to Rosa. This is what it is. He also says it tastes bad and makes fun of Otis. And then he steps on the cake. And then Mandy's all pissed off. And then Baron Corbin comes in and grabs Dolph and takes him away. So yeah, I think they're leading into a Dolph Ziggler Otis feud here. I don't know what's gonna happen. And I think, eventually you get Mandy Rose and Otis into a love story. Blah blah blah. Which eventually leads to them kissing for real. But kissing on screen, getting it on and all the good stuff. Yeah, and we get that. And we move on from there. So I gave that 2 out of 5 stars. And that's pretty much all I gotta say about that. Alright, then we got a Mustafa Ali video package detailing his very rough 2019, getting his eye injury, getting pulled from his feud, what would have been a feud with Daniel Bryan, the whole thing. He gets injured. Kofi comes into the Elimination Chamber match. He wins the Elimination Chamber match, and then he wins the WWE World Title from Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. Then he holds it for a while. Then he lost it to Brock Lesnar on the debut episode of Smackdown on Fox. So he says he will fight the good fight, stay in the light, and become a champion in 2020. Maybe Intercontinental Champion, but I don't see him being other than that. Maybe I highly doubt a tag team champion with Shorty G. I really don't see him winning those belts. I would hate to see it too, but nice to think positive about yourself there, Mustafa. But it is what it is. So we'll see what happens with him in 2020. Probably be in mid-card hell. Don't give a shit. And that's all I gotta say about that. And we move on from there. Alright, there we see Otis in the back. He finds his fruitcake destroyed. And he's kind of sad. Wouldn't you be too? So yeah. Sad Otis. I was hoping that Manny would come in, kind of console him. And maybe give him another kiss on the cheek. And he's like... He's surprised and he likes it, and then he gives Mandy another sweaty hug. But I guess they didn't do that. They'll probably save it for next week. So we'll see what happens with this Otis Dolph Ziggler feud. It's gonna continue on next week. See what happens with all as we move on into 2020. So I gave that 2 out of 5 stars. All right, then we go to the main event, which should have been really the main event. Period, not that stupid match with Miz and Bryan that ended with a DQ thanks to Corbin's security. So we get this match. match lasts 20 minutes. It was pretty good. And it was a pretty good match. Pretty good triple threat match. It starts off with a brawl at the bell. Goes to the outside. And Bryan hits a suicide dive. Then he sends Miz into the ring post, hits some knee strikes. Corbin cuts him off, and then works over the Miz on the outside, and they go back in. Corbin isolates the Miz. A choke breaker on the floor. And then comes back in. Bryan fires back with some strikes until Corbin cuts him off and covers for a near fall. Bryan comes back, and then the Miz attacks Baron Corbin, and then Bryan falls with some kicks, so they're kind of double teaming Baron Corbin for a little bit. Bryan hits a missile drop kick as we go to break. We come back, Miz and Bryan trade near falls on each other. Miz then takes out Corbin, DDTs Bryan, follows up with some kicks on Corbin, some yes kicks. Then he locks in a figure four. Corbin fights for his life. And then Bryan hits the top rope headbutt for a near fall. He locks in the label lock. Miz makes the save. And Bryan lays in some chops. Miz fires back, kicks Bryan to the floor. And Corbin hits End of Days on Miz. Fall as Bryan just makes the save. And Bryan hits the Uzaiku kick, or the knee plus. But Dolph Ziggler comes, who was, I believe, at ringside. He comes and super kicks. He super kicks Daniel Bryan down, and then Roman Reigns comes over and attacks Baron Corbin. He takes out Dolph and Corbin as we go to break. Come back, and Miz is working over Bryan and falls with a corner clothesline. Gonna work on Bryan for a while. Bryan then cuts him off, follows him up, and gets a spider suplex. And Bryan gets back up, and then Miz crotches him on the top turnbuckle. He follows him up, hits an avalanche shin breaker. Ow. And Bryan's clutching at his knee, so maybe he kind of has an injury. The Miz follows with some kicks to the shin. Bryan counter slaps him around and follows with some yes kicks. Miz then attacks the knee, then ground and pounds Bryan. Keeps attacking the knees. Bryan fights off the figure four, and then knocks in an armbar on the Miz. Transitions to the label lock until Miz bites him in the fingers. And then Bryan hits a head kick. He gets fired up. Miz counters into a skull crusher finale for a very near fall. Then he locks in the figure four. Bryan fights out of it. They trade strikes. Bryan gets out of it, locks in the label lock, transitions into the Rings of Saturn. Haven't seen him use in a while. And then he goes right back to the label lock, and then Miz quickly taps out. So Daniel Bryan is the new #1 contender. He will face Bray Wyatt in a rematch from the Survivor Series. Not the Survivor Series, Miz fought him at Survivor Series. Miz fought him at TLC. I was right. The Survivor Series. And, so it should be a good match. Match I gave 3 out of 5 stars. Pretty fun, and on the right winner, I wanted to see the new look Daniel Bryan, the American Dragon Daniel Bryan, against Bray Wyatt, the Fiend Bray Wyatt. So we get the match. We're gonna get the match at the Royal Rumble. I still think Bryan is gonna lose by disqualification, keeping Bray strong and undefeated all the way up until WrestleMania, when it looks like he will lose the Fiend title, or the Smackdown Universal title, to Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns goes on a nice little run with it, probably till maybe Money in the Bank, or maybe till SummerSlam. He's not gonna hold that belt for a long time. I highly doubt it. Get that. After the match, Bray appears on the Titantron and says the Fiend isn't done with him, and asks if he's willing to let him in. And Bryan's like, yes! 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 So, that makes it official. So, Bray Wyatt 2 at the Royal Rumble for the Universal title, or the Fiend title, whatever you want to call it. So, it should be a pretty good match. And like I said, I think Bray Wyatt will retain the title. But I think Bryan will win by DQ, and Bray will still retain the title. And then they'll probably have a third match, maybe on Smackdown TV. And Bray Wyatt will win. Will end the feud. And go on to he go on to the Elimination Chamber, Fastlane, and go into WrestleMania, and he will face Roman Reigns. I think Roman's gonna will be in the Elimination Chamber. Bryan will be in the chamber. Miz probably be in the chamber. Corbin will be in the chamber. Maybe Dolph Ziggler will be put in the chamber. They got to put 5 guys in the chamber, so or 6. Yeah, 6 guys really in the chamber. So they probably have to. They might put Cesaro or Sheamus in there. So that'll be your SmackDown Universal Title elimination. No, not for the eliminate. Not for the Universal Title. See who goes to WrestleMania and faces Bray Wyatt for the title. Because nobody's gonna win nobody from SmackDown is gonna win that title to win the Royal Rumble. I think it's gonna be somebody from NXT, and I think we're gonna see a NXT World Title match at WrestleMania, and it might be Adam Cole, Bebe versus whoever wins the Rumble, or it could be Ciampa facing whoever wins the Royal Rumble. But then again, the NXT champion could face Brock Lesnar, or he could face Bray Wyatt. You know, they could go any which way they want. And like I said, you know, there were rumors saying that the Velveteen Dream was gonna win the Royal Rumble. I don't know if that's gonna happen. I think he'll come back at the Royal Rumble. I don't think he'll win it. I think if anybody will win the Royal Rumble, it's not gonna be Adam Cole because he's gonna be in Worlds Collide. The Undisputed Era is gonna be all in Worlds Collide. You never know. I think Worlds Collide pay-per-view's in. It's either in London or it's gonna be in Houston. I don't know. I haven't read anything about that. If anybody knows, put it down below in the comment section. But if anybody should win the Royal Rumble from NXT, it should be Keith Lee. I'm just saying. Keith Lee, maybe Matt Riddle should win the Royal Rumble for NXT. If they're gonna go with an NXT guy to win the Royal Rumble. If it's from Raw, well, I don't know if he's gonna be in the match. It would be Kevin Owens. So then he can face Brock at the Royal Rumble, which would be a way better match than what they were thinking of going with. Because I don't think he's gonna be at the Royal Rumble unless they change plans over the next couple weeks. Because Brock's probably not coming back till WrestleMania. This part-time bullshit of his holding the WWE title hostage. And if it's from SmackDown, you got to give it to Roman or maybe Braun, but I don't think they're gonna give it to Braun Strowman. But you never know. So we have to find out over the next 4 weeks what happens with more matches for the Royal Rumble. You know, speculation who might win the Royal Rumble. I'll do a video maybe like a week or so before the Royal Rumble, giving you my thoughts. Who might be surprise entrants? You know, for the Royal Rumble for the men's and women's match. Well, you know, Shayna Baszler is supposedly gonna be in the women's Royal Rumble match. Maybe Rhea Ripley will be in it. Candice LeRae might be in it. Io Shirai, Bianca Belair. Maybe Dakota Kai, Tegan Nox might be in it. I doubt that because she's still coming back from a knee injury, so that takes a while to heal, depending on the severity of it. But yeah, you know, Shayna Baszler's just about penciled in for the women's Royal Rumble. So that's your one surprise entrant. Not really a surprise, because we all thought that when she lost the belt to Rhea Ripley, she was going to go on the main roster anyway. And a lot of people saying she will win the Royal Rumble, face Becky Lynch at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's Championship, and win the belt, and hold it for God knows how long. Hopefully for another year and a half. Becky is getting close to 290 days as champion. She's at 285 right now, I believe, as of today. 285 days as champion. No, not 285, 260, getting close to 265 We're getting close to 270 days as champion. So she's got another couple months to go before she hits 1 year, which will be culminated at a little bit after WrestleMania. At WrestleMania was, you know what I mean. Another 3 months for Becky to win to eclipse 1 year. She's held it for almost just about 9 months now. At the Royal Rumble, she'll hit getting close to 10 months with that belt. So Becky's held that belt for a long time. Haven't defended it much, except for against Lacey Evans and then against Sasha. And then after that, really didn't defend the belt much. And now she's going to be going against Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship at the Royal Rumble. So that's 4 matches for her on the card. And if you put Lacey Evans against Becky against Bayley, there's 5 matches. And you think of Braun Strowman and Shinsuke Nakamura for the IC title. That's 6 matches. And you got to fill maybe 2 matches with the tag team belts, and then a kickoff match or 2 after that. So you're gonna have maybe 10, 11, 12 matches in the entire show on January the 26th in Houston at Minute Maid Field. And I'm hearing the next year's in 2021 is gonna be in Seattle at where the Mariners play, or maybe maybe not where the Mariners play, probably where the Seahawks play, CenturyLink Field, which I think is a better place because it's a dome. I think it'll be there. I think it'll be in CenturyLink Field where the Seahawks play in 2021. I like how the Royal Rumble is in baseball fields. They're not gonna get like Citi Field. They're not gonna get Yankee Stadium. They're not gonna get that because let's be honest. If the Royal Rumble was in New York in January, a good chance you could see some snow or very cold weather. I don't think the WWE wants to risk their talent getting the flu or getting pneumonia or some other shit. So you won't see the Royal Rumble in an outdoor stadium in New York. The only way they could be back in New York is in the Barclays Center or at MSG. That's it. So I think the running theme is going with baseball stadiums. They had it in Arizona at the Diamondbacks Field in Chase Field. They're having it in Minute Maid Park where the Houston Astros play. Next year, in 2021, is going to be where the Seahawks play or where the Mariners play, whatever stadium is going to hold it. And then probably in 2022, might have it in Vegas because they have the new Raiders Stadium being built coming next year. So you might have the Royal Rumble in Vegas next year. Or maybe, I doubt it's going to be WrestleMania 37. Then again, it could be. So either the Royal Rumble or WrestleMania will be in Las Vegas, either for WrestleMania 37 or WrestleMania 38. But we'll see what happens with that as we get further into the future. The future! And that's it. That's it for SmackDown. I gave it 6 out of 10 stars. It wasn't really that great. But Daniel Bryan is the new number 1 contender. He will face Bray Wyatt. We'll see what happens over the next couple weeks on SmackDown with him and Bray. Maybe some more craziness with the Firefly Funhouse. Maybe the Fiend attacks Bryan again on TV. Bryan finally gets a measure of revenge on the Fiend. Probably the week before the Royal Rumble. See what happens. And we'll see what else happens. Maybe with Shinsuke Nakamura and Braun Strowman. Maybe something with the New Day, whoever they're going to fight. If they even defend the belts at the Royal Rumble. But if not, they're going to be in the Royal Rumble. And Kofi will do another crazy thing where he doesn't get eliminated. He hops off the barrier, and he jumps onto the apron, or he jumps on the announce table, and then he uses the chair, bounces off the chair, getting into the ring. He'll do something really crazy again. The craziest man in the WWE. But it is what it is. Brock's probably not going to be at the Rumble, which kind of sucks. As Brock Lesnar, they're going to cater to Brock. and he's leaving after WrestleMania anyway. He's never probably come, and I highly doubt he's coming back. He said this is his last WWE contract. Huh. People say last a lot in wrestling and in sports. This is my last contract. I'm not coming back. And then, like a few months later, he comes back. Kind of like Mike Francesa when he said, "I'm retiring for good." Then he comes back like a couple months later, and now he's retiring again. Just stay retired and get the fuck out of here. No offense to Mike Francesa, because he's probably one of the greatest radio sports play-by-play radio sports talkers in all of radio. Him and Chris Mad Dog Russo, Mikey. You know, Don Imus passed away this past Friday. No, I'm not gonna do a video. I was thinking of doing a video, but I really don't feel up to doing a video, so I'm just gonna pay my respects to Don Imus in secret, and the one and only shock jock, first original shock jock of in radio, and then Howard Stern ripped him off, and then Howard Stern and WNBC, and him getting Imus fired from NBC, and himself getting fired from NBC, and then going to 92.3 K-Rock. And he gets fired from K-Rock, and then he goes to Sirius XM Radio, where he's had a pretty successful run on Howard 100 or 101 with his show. He's saying he wants to retire soon. He's like 50, 60 years old now. The guy, still a fucking great, probably one of the greatest radio DJs in radio today. Of all time. Well, no, I don't know about all time, but he's up there with a lot of guys that have been on the radio, like Don Imus, Mike Francesa, and the like. And we'll get that. So yeah, rest in peace, Don Imus, man who really got me into radio. That's why I became a radio disc jockey in college. I still miss being a radio DJ, and I got a freaking radio degree, radio communications degree, and it really got me somewhere, but got me into music. I have a music job, but I was hoping maybe I can get on like Z100 or K-Rock or Q1043, but sadly, or Sirius XM Radio. I'm still trying to get into Sirius XM Radio, but nothing's lined up. Nothing's opened up, and it sucks. And a lot of my friends got broadcasting degrees, and really they haven't done anything with them. But fortunately for me, I've worked in the music business. I worked with Roadrunner. I still work for Roadrunner. Met a lot of bands like In This Moment, Slipknot, Soulfly, Sepultura, and the like. I've helped my buddies in December's Fall get to where they are now. Can't really divulge into what I do with December's Fall, but I do help them a lot, promoting them and all that good stuff. So my degree went somewhere, like some other people who have degrees and it went nowhere. Or people don't have an education. You know who you are. And that's basically all I gotta say about that. So, end the video. Smackdown gets a 6 out of 10. Leave me your thoughts and opinions down below. If you have any questions, down below in the comment section of this video, or hit me up via my Twitter page. Twitter link down below in the comment section of this video. Continue to smash that like button to death, and continue to subscribe to this channel and my other channels as well. All the links are down below in the description box. Share this video all over the internet, and tap that bell, turn on all my notifications so you never miss an upload, and hopefully YouTube can put videos out to you. And that's pretty much all I gotta say about that. So thank you for watching. I got another couple of videos coming up today. I got my best of 2019 video coming up. And then I got a rant about a rumor that's been going around for the WWE Hall of Fame, the next inductees into the Hall of Fame. I'll talk about that. And that's pretty much it. So thank you for watching. I'm Peter Gilmore signing off. Peace out. Rock on. If you're not down with that, fuck you, man! And that's all I gotta say about that. So thank you for watching. I'm out. Peace! Bitches!